सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. ॐ
Yeah, okay. So I started to study Naish Siddhi. It was a very interesting text, very different text from the other text I've studied before, and very like analytical and philosophical in a sense, and yeah, interesting to see the defense and counter arguments from the Advaita Vedanta point of view to the other schools.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very interesting text.
Yeah. And also I was thinking about, because you said when you and Andrew went to India and Sringeri Math, that most people there they're just doing the rituals.
Not most, all.
Yeah. And that's what's yeah, because in the Nishkarma Siddhi, the main defense in the beginning at least is for this school, the Purva Mimamsa school, which only believes in rituals and karma is the way to moksha. And
exactly.
it sounds like these people think they're Advaita Vedantins, but actually they are Purva Mimamsins, that they're doing only karmas and rituals.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like they're a bit confused, maybe.
Yes, because the problem is that when you are not prepared enough, you stay only with the rituals and not enter the jnana yoga. You stay in karma kanda, it's called. The Vedas, which are dealing with the karma yoga and the pujas and the rituals and all this. And the upasanam, which is the meditation on Saguna Brahman, Brahman with the form for those junior seekers. So they stay on this level because they have no enough preparation. Anyway, they cannot do otherwise. But they should not say that this is the path to moksha, because moksha without jnana yoga, without self-knowledge, is impossible.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find this in all the old Upanishads. It is mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes, we need karma yoga and upasana for the purification of the mind, for Chitta Shuddhi, it is called. But then we must graduate. We must go to the higher or more profound teachings and find self-knowledge.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Even it's mentioned in the scriptures that even if you become Brahmaji, like the highest of incarnation that you may project is to be the Brahmaji, the one who is projecting the universe together with the prarabdha karma of the jivatmas. And if you don't do self-knowledge, even if you are Brahmaji, you cannot enter moksha. It is mentioned even in such an extreme way. And the life of Brahmaji is considered to be 3 followed by 14 zeros. So they say that in order to present how difficult it is to have moksha without self-knowledge.
Yeah.
Because all are mithya. All the lokas, the 14 lokas, are mithya. Even the lokas which are considered as Siva Loka or Krishna Loka, Vaikunta, all these are mithya, are impermanent, not permanent.
Yeah.
And you cannot remove ignorance with any karma yoga or any upasanam, any meditation on a form of God. These are, of course, very needed for the purification of the mind, Chitta Shuddhi, but then you must proceed. You must do the leap to self-knowledge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like you want to learn to swim, and just meditating or just visualizing. You must do the process. If you want to learn Chinese language, you cannot say I will meditate and I will learn Chinese language, or I will say mantras, japa mala. I will chant mantras, or I will do charity, or any kind of karma yoga, or any rituals. You cannot learn Chinese like this. You need to find a guru or a professor of Chinese. You need to have books, which is the scriptural study, and you have the guidance of the guru, the professor, and you have the process of learning, the cognitive process. The same with Jnana Yoga. It is a cognitive process. It is a long term regular study under the guidance of a competent guru, who himself, of course, was a Shishya of another guru and part of the Guru Parampara.
Yeah. And also with the actual what karma can like actions can achieve, and what jnana can achieve. For example, he's called Suraswara Acharya, who wrote the Nishkarma Siddhi. He brings up that you have 4 pursuits, and one is if you have something but you're forgotten that you have it. For example, if you have a gold chain around your neck, that's knowledge that can remove that ignorance. It's not an action. And this is, of course, a metaphor for that we are Atma or Brahman, but we have forgotten it. And it's
Yes,
it's only knowledge who can reveal this. It's not a ritual or something else.
it is the removal of ignorance, or the removal of the veiling, and that's why they use the other example of the snake and the rope.
Yes.
You cannot, if you are in the panic and stress and agony and fear because you see in front of you a snake in front of your feet due to not so much light, then if you meditate on God, or if you try to do a recitation of mantra or whatever, this cannot remove the ignorance that there is only a rope and not a snake. So a guru will come and say to you that you are not perceiving the truth. You believe that this is a snake, when in reality it is only a rope. This is only an act of knowledge. So you can acquire the knowledge from the guru and the scriptural study. It's not about any kind of karma, any kind of meditation. It's a cognitive process. You are completely believing false notions, and you must remove these false notions through a cognitive process under the guidance of a competent guru.
Yeah. And of course, like with karma, it has its results, but the result is never moksha. For example, if you have a disease in the body, it's not knowledge that removes the disease. Then you have to do some kind of karma or some kind of action to remove the disease. But in this case, the result is not moksha.
Yes, because it's the problem of suffering, or the problem of samsara, is having its root only in the lack of self-knowledge. Because you believe that you are a limited human being, that's why you are experiencing that's why you are experiencing suffering, and that's why you believe that you are in bondage. But what about if the guru will transfer to you the knowledge that what you really are is the unlimited Brahman, and that nothing can harm you because there is only that, and you are that? Then there is no need of any karma yoga or any meditation anymore. Because the meditation of any kind or the karma yoga of any kind was only a good preparation, only to create the right um, uh, the right conducive atmosphere, let's say. But
Yeah, the conditions.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, the condition, and that itself cannot provide moksha, cannot provide self-knowledge. The only way to have knowledge is by a cognitive process. You cannot have knowledge of any kind by any activity, by running or by walking or by swimming or by doing bicycling. You need to go into a cognitive process under the guidance of a competent guru and to learn and to have the scriptural study. Both of them are indispensable. The scriptural study, the sastram, and the guru. You cannot have only the sastram, you cannot have only the guru.
Mm. Yeah, and also this basic ignorance, it's what's the ignorance, the avidya, it's what creates the belief in duality and multiplicity, and that is what creates likes and dislikes. Like, I like to do this, I don't like to do that, I like this and don't like that. And that's why you want to do actions or karma towards those things, because you have desire for something and aversion for other things. But of course, that's the root cause. The root problem is the ignorance, the misconception that there are different, that there is a duality.
Yes, and raga and dvesa, likes and dislikes of any kind, they do appear because you feel limited. You believe you are limited and you are maintaining this false notion that I'm a limited human being. And because you have this false notion, then you want to become unlimited, when in reality you are in eternity unlimited already.
Yeah.
But because you veil this with a false notion that I am a limited being, then you try to cover this, you try to bring this unlimitedness through the likes and dislikes, raga and dvesa. If you believe you are so small, then you try to become bigger by acquiring money or wealth or fame or glory or any kind of acquisitions. But what about if you know and you are permanently convinced and you can recognize permanently that I was ever that which is ever unlimited and perfect and pure and whole and complete and fulfilled, then where is the need of ragas and dvesas? Where is the need of acquiring anything anymore or having any kind of attachment?
Yeah. And I guess that is why we live in like such a materialistic society that we do now. We pursue desires and pleasures all the time because many people feel so limited and so unfulfilled, and they feel so kind of sad inside of them because of this. So they try to pursue different things, try to drink alcohol to be happy, try to buy new cell phones, try to get a better job, or like whatever it is. They try to fill the gap of unfulfillment with their desires.
Exactly.
But it's so counterintuitive, or actually it's the opposite, because desires, it breeds more desires. So when you have fulfilled one desires, two more desires pop out, and then 4, and then 8, and then kind of just multiplies. So the less desires that you have, the more happy and fulfilled you will be. So I guess the ultimate fulfillment is having 0 desires.
Yes, most of the people, they believe that by doing all the time something or by having all the time something, they can reach happiness, bliss, and peace on a permanent basis. But actually, it is the exact opposite. The less you want, the less you want to be, and the more satisfied is with your true nature, then the more you will have permanent peace, happiness, and bliss. It is the exact opposite of what people do. And it is always like that. It will be always like that. You cannot cover by acquiring more and more things, or by wanting to become somebody, or by searching for glory and fame and wealth and money. You cannot recover any time like this ever in the future. You cannot have this fulfillment. It is impossible. It creates even more desires. It's like what in the scriptures it is mentioned that the ego with the desires is like the ocean. The more rivers are flowing in, uh, it is a vicious circle. The ego will never be satisfied. The person will never be satisfied. More and more desires will appear. And we can see how many billionaires and trillionaires, they cannot be satisfied. They are still wanting more and more and more and more. We can see around us.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a question connected to this. Like,
Go ahead.
desires, for example, if I go to work, some people maybe they go to work because they have desire to get money. So like they have a strong desire to become rich, and they go to work. But you can also go to work because you feel it's your duty and you're doing a good things for other people, and it needs to be done. So the same action, you can do the same thing, but without desire or with desire. Would you say that is correct, that desire is actually not what you do, but how you do it? It's like a mindset, or how you think about what you're doing?
All is based on your attachment or non-attachment. You can do your duties as a father, as a husband, as a worker or employee without attachment, and you can perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine to pursue your duties, and but the problem is that most of the people, they are in attachment, and the same with emotions. It's different, for example, to love your husband or your wife, and different to have attachment.
Yeah.
They're two different things. In the scriptures, they do this discrimination, that you can love your family but without attachment, can perform your duties but without attachment. Worries cannot help by any means to help your family, or anxiety, or any kind of stress. On the contrary, you will become less effective in trying to support your family.
Yeah. And for example, you can be a doctor, and some people maybe become a doctor because it's good money, and some people become a doctor because they really love to help other people and make them better. And I think when you go, for example, if you go to a doctor that doesn't care about you, he's just there for the money, and if you meet another doctor that loves his job and wants to make you feel good again, you can really feel the difference. And I really feel that the persons who does not have desire for what they do, but do it because it's their duty and they want to help you, that they are better at their job, for example.
Yes, because when you make something out of your heart, and with compassion and with the right motives, of course it will be in accordance with the natural laws of the universe. You will experience even bliss by helping others. There is no better happiness, bliss, and peace that you can receive than being useful to humanity in general, and to your dear and near ones, and also to all the people around you. It's the best happiness, bliss, and peace that you can experience, because you become unlimited like this. You become your real nature, and you will receive even support by even by ways that you cannot even imagine. Look, for example, Sacchidananda Acharya, he is receiving support non-stop from everywhere. Why? Because he wishes to help humanity as much as possible. He wishes to be in service, to serve as much as possible. Then the means are appearing. But and the people are around him, they feel that he wants to help. He wants, out of compassion and love, to spread the teachings, to propagate the teachings. The people can feel that, and then they wish to support, they wish to join these endeavors. And how always it happened like that. There was somebody who wanted to help and to offer the teachings, and people could feel and they could come and join this endeavor. And that's why the ashrams can be built, or the sanghas, the spiritual communities. It was always like that from beginningless time.
Yeah.
And who is willing to help will receive support sooner or later. Maybe not in the beginning, but sooner or later people will feel that he is pure. He wants to support humanity. He wants to do loka sangraham, uplifting of humanity. And even if there is injustice from time to time, and rumors and judgments from evil people, sooner or later the truth will come up. We have an example of the great sage Ramana Maharishi. They managed to put the great sage Ramana Maharishi, the great Jnani, into the court with rumors and with false accusations that he did the ashram for his ego. And finally, he became. They declared him innocent, 100%, because Ramana Maharishi said, "I've never touched anything in my hands except my food." And they were accusing him that he did the ashram, Ramanashramam, for his own sake. But actually, he had never received anything else, and he didn't touch anything else except his food that have been offered to him. And he was so simple and humble, only having an underwear, a loin cloth, and a stick to walk, and a pot to drink, and things like that. Like he didn't have any luxurious life or any possessions.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had a lot of money or things, or if he did, he was very good at hiding it.
Still, they managed to put him in the court.
Yeah, very strange.
But the truth signed.
Yeah.
It was signing after.
Yes. But speaking of, like we talked about before with attachment and desires, it's still like, for example, mumukshutvam, the desire for liberation. That's also a kind of desire, or like we all have the desire for creating an ashram. So is there a difference between some desires and other desires?
Yes, desires for the commonwealth or for Loka Sangraham, the uplifting of humanity, they are perfectly fine, and it is a big blessing. They are blessing. And whatever you want to have as a desire to offer any service to the fellow human beings, and in general all the beings and in nature, it is a great desire. Not all desires are bad. Adi Shankaracharya had the desire to travel across India, and to teach everybody as much as he could, and to write down commentaries, bhasyams on Upanishads. We cannot say that he was bad because he had such desires. Or somebody wants to build an ashram and to propagate teachings and to create the perfect conducive environment for the propagation of the teachings. We cannot say that this person is bad because he has this desire. Or somebody else, another jnani, wants to do charity of any kind. Another one wishes to make a family. It's perfectly fine. And he's just following the prarabdha karma. Not all can be sannyasins, monks. Somebody has the desire to have a family. It's no problem at all. It's perfectly fine. Another wants to taste a beautiful dish of food. It's no problem. But when the food or the dish becomes a necessity and a need, then of course it is attachment and it can create suffering also after. So the difference is about when something is a need or a preference. And the secret about desires is to make them a preference, not a need, not something that you are craving for. It's perfectly fine to have the desire to enjoy a beautiful dish that you prefer. But when you say that if I don't have this kind of a dish, I'm not complete, I'm not fulfilled, and I am sad, then of course it is a problem. It maintains the illusory perception that you are a limited being. This is the problem with desires when they are not benevolent desires, that they are maintaining your false superimpositions that you are a limited being instead of being that, and there is only that. But Dharma Sastra, they put all the necessary explanations, and in the Dharma Sastram we can see what is legitimate and what is not legitimate, what is conducive to moksha and what is not conducive. And if we follow the scriptures, this wisdom, then we are on a safe path.
Because the desires, it is one of the things that keeps the wheel of samsara going, and the births and rebirths and so forth. But these things that we're talking about, it's not desires in this sense. The desires that keeps the wheel of samsara going is attachment desires.
Yes, not a preference, but a need, a craving. And desire brings, as a next step, it brings activity. In order to satisfy your desire, you need to do certain activity, which most of the times brings suffering. Let's say you want a lot of money, then you will pay with a lot of activity. And most of the times this activity will bring pain or suffering. And then this suffering will make what we call samsara. Because desire brings activity, action. Action brings more lifetimes, dream lifetimes. And if you don't satisfy your desires in this lifetime, you will need to project a new lifetimes. You will be part of Ishvara's new projection of the universe, of the apparent universe. You become one of the helpers of Ishvara to project a new universe where you can exhaust these desires. And it is through desires that you create punyam and papam. punyam, merit, good karma, pleasurable experiences, and papam, unpleasurable experiences. It works like that.
Yeah. So could you say like a jiva or the life of a jiva is just to fulfill the desires that the jiva has? Because when you exhaust the desires, then you're not in samsara, not a jiva anymore.
Yes, the only way to exhaust your prarabdha karma is through punyam and papam, through pleasurable and unpleasurable experiences. And for this, you need this hologram of the apparent universe in order to have this kind of experiences and to go towards moksha. You are exhausting your prarabdha karma, and then you are creating agami karma if you are not a jnani. And through exhausting your sanchita karma, which is the store of karma, then you have the possibility to become a jnani, to reach moksha, self-realization. And the only way to exhaust the prarabdha karma is by experiencing suffering or pleasure. There is no other way. And if you exhaust your prarabdha karma and you are a jnani, you don't create agami karma, new karma. So you are exhausting only the sanchita karma, the store of karma. And if you become a jnani, then you don't have any more karma to exhaust. So there is no any new projection of life, no any new lifetime, because there is no need anymore. And it is also the sign of somebody who is proceeding well on the path to self-realization, to moksha. The less desires, egotistic, of course, desires, I mean, the more easy to understand that this person is proceeding very well, very quick to moksha, to self-realization. If somebody is full of worldly desires, how he can reach self-realization? If he is full of attachments and likes and dislikes, ragas and dvesas.
Yeah, it's not possible.
Not also, it creates a lot of emotional instability, and you will experience a lot of suffering. The more likes and dislikes you have, ragas and dvesas, the more emotional instability, because you are hooked. It's like you are hooked to your ragas and dvesas. You are hooked, and you will always be driven. You will always being directed through your ragas and dvesas like a slave.
Yeah. And you can actually feel when you have less desires, you feel more happy all the time.
Yes.
So I think that's the actual proof. I think if you talk to people about this and they say, how do you know this? I just think if you have less desires, you will become happy. It's very easy. It's nothing more complicated than that.
Yes, you become free.
Yeah.
You are not a slave anymore to the ragas and dvesas, likes and dislikes, and all this turbulence in the mind from the vrittis, the turbulence from the thoughts that are pulling you to your desires. It can be the desire, on the other hand, to create an ashram, but this is a desire that is not a binding desire.
Yeah.
There are binding desires and non-binding desires. The non-binding desires are those who are a preference, not a need. Sacchidananda Acharya have the desire to create, to establish an ashram, an authentic curriculum, or even as many as possible. But this is not for his satisfaction or egotistic need of any kind. It is for out of compassion and love to help as many as possible to be free, to be liberated from the suffering of samsara.
Yeah.
So this is a key point, that when you can transmute or transform your possible desires into preferences and not something which you crave for, then you are on a safe path. And you can also ask yourself, is this a binding desire? Is this a preference for me? Or I need that? And if I don't pursue that, I will be unfulfilled, unhappy, and sad. And then this is a good testing day by day.
Yeah.
Also, there are possible emotional disturbances when you have a lot of likes and dislikes, ragas and vesas, a lot of desires, unfulfilling desires. You are always on an emotional disturbance. You're not free anymore. And also you become hostile. You can become hostile, angry when you cannot reach your desires, or there are others who become an obstacle to reach your desires. You become hostile to them. It is something very awful. It brings harmful effects in your life. So another way to deal with your desires is to remember how harmful are, and to remind to yourself as often as possible that desires are harmful when they are not for the benefit of humanity, for loka sangraham, or being conducive to the path to self-realization. So by reminding to yourself that they can be very, very harmful and lead you to darkness, you can do this mind management. It's a kind of mind management. It brings these instructions from the scriptures of how to be the right adhikari as well, the right disciple or shishya or student, by not having attachment to the worldly things, and to be free, to have a desire for moksha, self-realization, to have discipline, to have discrimination of what is anatma and what is atma. All these are also mentioned in the scriptures.
Yeah. And it's also important to have a clarity, like you were talking about mind management, and to have mind management, you need clarity of mind. You need to see, like, from an almost third person view or objective view, when these feelings and desires come and when they arise in you, so you're not controlled by them, so you're not a slave of them, but you can actually sense them and then analyze them and then control and say, no, this is a desire, I'm not going to pursue this.
Yes, or is this a desire which is a binding one or a non-binding one? Is this a preference or only a desire which will bring me harmful effects? And this desire will lead me to more darkness, more maintaining the false notion that I am a limited being. Because the point is that you will be in this vicious circle. If you maintaining the false notion that you are limited, and by pursuing your desires, you will become unlimited in a future time, then you are in a big mess. You are in darkness, in ignorance, and it will be a vicious circle.
Yeah.
You are already that, and there is only that, and that is perfect. That is unlimited, fulfilled. It doesn't need anything at all.
Yeah. I have another question. It's, I guess, in a way, maybe connected to this regarding, let's put it like this. Ananda is the eternal source of happiness and bliss, or Ananda rather is eternal happiness and bliss. So when we experience happiness, most often people experience happiness short periods of time. And that's Ananda, just there has created a condition in the mind for a certain period of time, and then Ananda shines through and you experience happiness and bliss. But my question is actually like this feeling of sadness or unfulfillment that I think most people feel more unfulfilled and sad all the time. And I know that this is not real, this is ignorance, but what is the source of sadness, or what is sadness? Where does it come from? As I said, I know it's based on ignorance, but if Ananda is the source of happiness, what is the source of sadness?
Well, it is veiling of your true nature. It's like you put in your eyes black eyeglasses. You will see everything black, even if there is in front of you the sun, and you cover your eyes, you will see blackness. You will not be able to experience the light. So the light is always there. Ananda, our true nature, is always there. And according to Advaita Vedanta teachings, even when there is any kind of suffering or sadness or any negative emotion, underground, it is always this Ananda, but only veiled, covered. It is a veiling when you are having these false notions. You are veiling your true nature through ignorance, through superimpositions. And it is the thinking process which can do that. Let's say there is somebody who have cancer, and the doctors told him that look, you are in very advanced cancer, and you have 3 weeks of life, and he is suffering all day long, and he goes to sleep, to deep sleep without dreams. Then what happens with this suffering, with this sadness?
In deep sleep, it goes away.
You see? So it is the thinking process that is producing this kind of veiling. And the veiling can be removed only through a cognitive process, through the self-knowledge process, through scriptural study, under the guidance of a competent guru. There is no other way. Just like any kind of ignorance can be removed only through knowledge. If you have ignorance of Chinese language, you can remove this ignorance with knowledge of Chinese language. How? By hiring or by paying a Chinese professor, and by buying and studying under his guidance Chinese literature and Chinese grammar and Chinese language in general. Isn't it?
Yes.
Is it possible to remove this ignorance by chanting mantras?
No.
Or by going to somebody who says, I will touch you in your crown chakra, Sahasrara chakra, and you will know Chinese language afterwards?
No.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Sadness of any kind and any suffering, it is illusory. It is like the illusion of a snake in a rope. It never have been existed, any kind of suffering. There is only love and bliss, happiness and peace. But it is veiled. How? By the thinking process, by false notions. When you can become sad, when you are saying a story to yourself. Let's say you have a girlfriend or a wife and you have a divorce. And you say to yourself, I am sad because I lost my wife and now I'm feeling alone. And I don't know if I will have the right wife again. And so on and so forth. But then you go to the deep sleep without dreams. What happens with this sadness?
It goes away in deep sleep.
You see? So how that can be true, something that appears and disappears?
Yeah, it's if it goes, if you have it sometimes and not sometimes, otherwise, then it's not true and it's not eternal. It's an illusion.
That's why in the scriptures we are speaking about namarupa, names and forms, labeling, labels of any kind, concepts or thought forms. To be sad is only a label. It never really existed from the Paramarthika standpoint, of course. From the Vyavaharika empirical dream reality, of course, you can experience something like that. But it is not absolute true. It is just a superimposition, an illusion. Somebody is losing his wife and he's sad, and he's saying, "I will be unhappy for the rest of my life." And then it passes, let's say, 1 week, and he's meeting another wife, another woman, and he can see that he feels that this woman is 100 times better. And now he says in himself, the storytelling in himself is that it was fantastic that I took a divorce from the previous wife, because now I met this woman who is much, much, much better for me to get married to. So where is the truth, really?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard. I have a question. It's hard to put it out. I guess, like when we feel happiness and bliss, the source of that bliss is Ananda, that's shining in the mind. Like you create the condition in the mind, that's perfect condition, and then Ananda, bliss and peaceful and happiness shines through. But when you're sad, where does the sadness come from? What's the source of if Ananda is the source of happiness, what is the source of sadness?
Ignorance again, because of your superimposition of what you really are. You are superimposing to yourself that you are a limited human being, and that actually there are existent beings, but beings do not exist. There is only beingness. So if you come from the standpoint of beingness, what happens with the sadness of a being, a human being?
Can you say again?
If you come and you see yourself from the standpoint of beingness, what can happen with the sadness of a human being that you previously believed that you are?
If you mean by beingness from like the ultimate standpoint, then it goes away and you see it's illusory.
Yes, it becomes illusion.
Yeah.
You say now I am that, and there is only that. So where is place for sadness of any kind?
Yeah.
Sadness can appear only when you are superimposing limitations to yourself, and you say, I'm a human being, I lost my wife, I took divorce from my wife, and now I'm sad.
Yeah.
You are not a human being. You are beingness.
Yeah.
Does
Uh,
beingness need a wife?
no, it does not need a wife.
Who needs a wife, and who can be sad when the wife taking divorce from him? A male, a somebody, in inverted commas, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do we really believe in the existence of a somebody?
No.
There is no somebody of any, by any means. There is no somebody. There are no beings. There is only beingness.
Yeah.
You may experience that the apparent somebody have a kind of suffering or a negative emotion, but from the standpoint of you, the witnessing consciousness, Saksi Chaitanya, you can see that you have nothing to do with Victor. Victor may have sadness, but what is accommodating, veiling, and revealing this sadness of the apparent Victor? Who is
Yeah.
accommodating, revealing, and illumining Victor as a human being, this somebody, and his
Consciousness.
exactly. So let him have sadness. You have nothing to do with Victor.
Yeah.
But let the protagonist in the movie have sadness. You can have compassion, of course, for Victor, who is playing in the movie that he took a divorce from his wife, and now he is in suffering. You can have compassion, and you can feel how he feels. But you are standing down there in the cinema, in the chair.
Yeah. But
You are
so
the witnessing consciousness has nothing to do with a somebody and his sadness. It's a superimposition
yeah,
due to ignorance.
I think my mind is trying to find like for example, you can have many different kind of feelings. You can have sadness, you can have bliss, you can feel many different kind of emotions. And the source of, as we're saying, happiness is bliss. So I guess if I put it like this, is happiness and bliss, is that the only true feeling that is, and all other feelings are ignorance and illusory?
Happiness
Because
is also illusory and a concept. From the
okay,
standpoint of Brahman, there is no even happiness, bliss, and peace.
yeah, okay,
Brahman say that I'm happy in bliss and peace. Only when we have a hybrid phenomenon, we can speak about this and we can declare something like this. When
yeah,
we have a Jivatma, who is the right medium, his mind is a fine medium to express or to reflect a tiny aspect of this uh, completely absence of conflict of any kind, because Brahman don't have any conflict of any kind, and
so
he don't say, he in inverted commas or it in inverted commas, I don't have any conflict, I am in peace, happiness, and bliss. This can be declared when when we have a somebody, a reflection, a Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. Otherwise, it is only a concept. In reality, there is no such thing as happiness and suffering or any kind of duality. They are only concepts, thought forms, labeling.
So both happiness and sadness is on the same level of reality. They're both equally not true.
They are labels, concepts.
Yeah, but we say like that the nature of Brahman is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. That the nature of Brahman is Ananda. So then we could also say. So could we also say that Brahman is Sat, Chit, Ananda, and sadness? Because if both Ananda and sadness is equally true, then that would also be equally true of Brahman.
When we speak about Sat, Chit, Ananda, we can speak only from the standpoint of a Chidabhasa, a reflected consciousness. Does Brahman say that I'm Sat, Chit, Ananda?
No, Brahman can't say or do anything.
His it or
Yeah.
he in inverted commas is akarta and abhokta.
Yeah.
But we are speaking from the standpoint of Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, from the standpoint of a somebody, an apparent somebody. We are on the level of duality. We speak about opposites. Opposites can never be the absolute truth. Happiness, suffering, good and bad. All these are having perfect function in Vyavaharika teachings and Vyavaharika empirical dream reality. But from the standpoint of Brahman, they do not have any meaning.
Yeah.
And even we speak about Brahman when in reality there is no such thing as Brahman.
Oh, if
we want to speak about Brahman, we can say only it is unfathomable.
Yeah. Yeah, but with like in the scriptures, why does it state that Brahman is Sacchidananda? Why is it has it chosen these three words? If these three words is just as untrue from all the similar as all other words, like everything we can describe Brahman with, why have we chosen these three words to describe him with?
A jnani is experiencing Sacchidananda. But is it really there, a jnani?
No.
A jnani is also a superimposition, a label.
Oh, okay.
Are the teachings the absolute truth, or the teachings are also mithya?
The teachings is also mithya.
So?
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. Now I think I understand. Yeah.
The teachings are like a hell door. The teachings are very useful as long as you believe that you are somebody, and there are beings, and there is the universe and the creation, and all these labels and concepts and thought forms.
Yeah.
And they are like a wonderful door to come out of hell. But if you are out of this hell, where is the meaning of the teachings? And the Guru Parampara and the process to self-realization? When you are on this standpoint that there is nobody except that, and I'm that,
yeah,
where is the point of any labels or any teachings?
Yeah. It's like if the sun is covered in clouds, and then when the clouds have gone away and you see the sun, you always know that the sun is there, even if there are clouds or whatever.
Yes, upon removal of ignorance, then all the rest of the concepts, including the concept of knowledge and ignorance, they don't have any meaning anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
The concept of knowledge and ignorance are also thought forms, labels. When somebody is in the deep sleep without dreams, does he speak about ignorance or knowledge or self-realization or bodhaj or jnana yoga?
No.
Do they have any meaning there?
No, they don't have any meaning.
When they pursue meaning is when we have the thinking process in action.
Yeah.
And so we use the thinking process in order one day to go beyond it. We use the teachings in order one day to go beyond them. We use the thorn to take out the thorn from the foot. When we take out the thorn from the foot with a thorn, do we need the thorn more?
No.
No. We throw away also the thorn.
Yeah.
The thorn.
Yeah. I think like when I read the scriptures and it says that everything is illusory, but Brahman is Sacchidananda, then I think maybe I've thought that everything is illusory except Sacchidananda, but that is also then equally illusory.
From the standpoint of Brahman, it is illusory. From the standpoint of the Vyavaharika empirical reality, it is true. Always it is from which standpoint you want to check.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
From somebody who is believing that he is in bondage, from his standpoint, the path is absolutely necessary. And the guru and the competent guru and the guru parampara and the scriptural study and the dharmic lifestyle, everything is absolutely necessary. But from the standpoint of a jnani, for example, they are not necessary at all. They are also mithya. The guru and sishya principles or concepts. If you believe that you are a sishya, you need a guru. If you believe that you are a human being and a samsari and an individual identity or entity, and you suffer, absolutely you need a guru and a guru parampara and scriptural study and sandhana and all this and dharmic lifestyle and all this. But does a jnani need all this?
No. Yeah. Okay, good. I think this cleared out many things. I think maybe it's like I'm still in the early stages of Advaita Vedanta studying and so forth, and sometimes maybe it's confusing to study Advaita Vedanta because sometimes something is from the Vyavaharika perspective, sometimes from the Paramarthika perspective, and so forth. And maybe sometimes it's confusing or it gets mixed up what it actually means from what perspective. But I totally understand what you say when like it all depends on from what perspective. Some things can be true from one perspective, but not from the other perspective.
Exactly. That's why we have kinds of teachings in Advaita Vedanta. Those for junior seekers and those for senior seekers.
Yeah.
But who can verify, who can recognize which teachings the sishya, the student, needs?
It's the guru.
It's the guru only. Because if the sishya says and wishes to believe that he is advanced and he will study only the advanced scriptures and the Paramarthika teachings, he is doomed to disaster, to darkness. That is the phenomenon of millions in the planet. They believe that they can study alone. They believe they don't need a guru. They have this mental pride. and they just go into darkness.
Yeah.
We have examples. We have spiritual geniuses from previous lifetimes, totally prepared very quickly in the current lifetime to be free, like Ramana Maharishi, who didn't had any guru or following any guru parampara, and he had the death experience, and it was enough to complete the process. But in our tradition, in our guru parampara, we say that he had gurus, many gurus, in previous lifetimes and following a guru parampara, and he just, for some reasons, didn't conclude the process, and he needed just one lifetime more to conclude.
Yeah.
That's all. But how many are like Ramana Maharishi?
Yeah. Not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
But now they study Ribu Gita, and they say, I don't need any guru, I don't need any concepts, I don't need a guru parampara, I'm Brahman, I'm that, so I don't need to do anything at all. So they are not sincere with themselves. And if you check their lifestyle and their emotional reactions and the way they live, you can certainly recognize that they are just megalomaniacs. They
Yeah.
are just full super egos.
Yeah.
It's very easy to say, I'm Brahman, I'm that, and I don't need to do anything. It's very, very easy. But test yourself in very extreme situations. How
Yeah.
you will react. How you will react if somebody will do something very harmful to you. How you will react if you are a husband and you enter the bedroom and you see your wife with another person.
Yeah.
How you
Exactly.
will react at this moment. How you will react if you lose your job and you don't have any money and you have family and you don't know how to survive, you and your family.
Yes.
How you react, how you are inside you. What is the atmosphere inside you?
Yeah.
Do you maintain peace or you are in turbulence?
Yeah.
This, you must be sincere with yourself.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you like outside to the so-called others, the apparent others. But look inside you and be sincere. How I react in very difficult situations and events. I may say, I'm Brahman, I don't need to do anything. I don't need a guru. I don't need a holy tradition. I don't need scriptural study.
Yeah.
But check yourself and see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I more and more understand the importance of the mananam and these satsangas that we have to actually, so to say, to clarify for myself, because like you can study something and you can remember it and you have it in your mind, but it's just information. You actually have to 100% realize what it means. And that's, you can do it in many different ways, I guess, but in our tradition, it's mananam and the satsangans and from the guidance of the guru. And I think more and more as time goes on, I understand this process and what it can do for me. And I feel like every satsanga, there's some really new, important piece of information that goes from information to a realized knowledge.
Exactly. Because even in the scriptures, there are many apparent contradictions, millions of contradictions. It says, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am in all. And then in the next verse, you can read, I'm not in all.
Yeah,
Then
it's from
you will
different
go to ask,
perspectives.
yeah, you will go to ask whom to clarify this dilemma? Your girlfriend, your friend in the job, your colleague, your father, your husband, your wife, whom you will ask, and with what kind of a guarantee of the right guidance. Nowadays, they're debating in Facebook about what is Brahman.
Yeah.
And they believe that they do the right way.
Yeah. I know. I've seen this also in different groups quite lately, actually, when they ask very like difficult or advanced questions, and then people just jump in and say something really like shallow, and it just creates more confusion.
It will create confusion ad infinitum.
Yeah.
It will bring more ignorance, more darkness.
Yeah.
If this body-mind complex, Sacchidananda Acharya, was not having the greatest punyam, the greatest good karma, to find his guru and his gurus in general, like Swami Paramarthananda and Sringeri Jagat Gurus, will also stay in ignorance and darkness. And only if somebody can be an ideal and perfect Shishya can be after an ideal and perfect guru. There is no other way.
Yeah.
Sravanam can be only as per the scriptures and the holy tradition, only can be made only to avoid darkness and ignorance and disaster under the guidance of a competent guru who is a part of a guru parampara, a holy tradition. And then you continue with mananam, which means clarifying everything with him, dissolving all your questions and doubts, and then continuing with nididhyasana, assimilation of these teachings in the heart of your heart, and making these teachings your own truth, not a gathering of information or data. You must say one day, I am that, and there is only that. And you must be able for years or your entire life not to have even 1 second of a doubt that there is something else except that, and that you are that. You must not have even a second of a doubt or any mental reservations.
Yeah.
If you can do that one day in a mature state, then if you have never studied all the scriptures and all the Upanishads and all the important topics, it doesn't matter. The important is to know as soon as possible that there is only that and you are that. And all the rest is only appearances, are only appearances. This is the conclusion of all the scriptures. And when you arrive in this conclusion and you have the permanent recognition and conviction, then even if you don't know all the Sanskritam words and all the teachings and all the Upanishads, it doesn't matter. If you know that, it says in very serious Upanishad, very important. If you know that, then it doesn't need to know anything else. There is no need to know anything else. Which that you are that, and there is only that.
Yeah. And it feels like, especially in Advaita Vedanta, that the process is in a way more important than the information or the knowledge, because at the same time, like maybe you have information first, you read something and you have the information in your mind, but maybe you don't understand it or have realized it yet. But as soon as that information turns to knowledge, that creates ignorance in that moment. As soon as you know that the rope is a snake, then you don't have any need anymore for that knowledge, so to say, because as soon as you have the realization, then that process have done its work. So in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, the process is very important, so to say. It's not about accumulating the knowledge even, it's about realizing the knowledge.
Yes, you may believe that in front of your feet, in semi-darkness, there is a snake ready to bite you. Maybe somebody will say to you, this is not a snake, it is a rope. But only the guru can persuade you, let's say.
Yeah.
Can make you
show you
and make you confident and show you 100% without any mental reservations, without any doubts, to be convinced that this is a rope and cannot harm you. To hear it from somebody else, it's not enough.
Yeah.
You must be convinced. You must know that in the heart of your heart. To say to you, somebody will not remove the fear and the panic and the stress and everything just to hear it. You must be convinced, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
But only the guru can do that.
Yeah.
Who himself was a Shishya before.
Yeah. Good. So I feel I'm getting a little bit tired in my head from the first meeting and this satsanga, which was very good and very helpful. So I'm happy for today. So thank you very much.
Yes, you are most welcome.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः